Good evening, my fellow pipers and fellow YouTubers. I'm having myself a late evening pipe, and I don't know what type of pipe this is, but I do know that it's been a day. But I'm smoking this one that was sent to me, and Mark sent me, and I love this pipe. And in it, I'm smoking, or will be smoking, the Leonardo 10 that he sent me by Peterson. I don't know why, but I've smoked this tobacco out of my other pipes, all except for the clay pipe I made. And I don't know, I guess it just tastes better coming out of this pipe. And drinking me some good old H2O water. And well, let me get lit up here and get this started. I'm in one of those moods tonight where if it can go wrong, it probably will, and I just don't care. I'm in one of those kind of moods tonight. Got a good bit of a char going. Sometimes I can light well enough I ain't gotta worry about doing a relight. But anyways, something kind of new. I wouldn't say new, but something that has happened. My little camera tripod I was using, it broke on me tonight. I mean, so I'm still dealing with a little bit of a cold. And I got a relight, but that's pretty cool. But dealing with a bit of an issue tonight. My little phone camera tripod, one of the legs broke on me tonight. Really sucks. I was having trouble anyways with the little top piece that holds it, and now one of the legs broke off. I mean, the way it's built, I could possibly, maybe wrap it around something, and hang it from something. But other than that, it's kind of useless. And seeing how the one leg broke off tonight, I don't think I want to trust the other two. Anyways, so I gotta get me a new one of those. And I got the phone hold up tonight with 2 bottles of cologne. Oh man, I'm telling you. Then I went to try to had just one of those. Anybody out there ever just have one of those just blah moments, like you didn't have a bad day and nothing's really wrong per se, but you just have one of those moments where you're just so in a sense, I feel like things just kind of overwhelm you. Come on, like you feel real heavy sometimes. Like depression. But you have nothing to be depressed about. It's just So I think part of it might be just a little bit of loneliness once in a while. But who knows? It's weird. And then went to reach out to one friend, and it kind of got grouchy towards me. Talked to my sister for a little bit though. We talked just a little bit ago. Now we're cooking. I like that tobacco. It's really good. Yeah. And it's just the right type of dried out too. But anyways, talked to my sister for a little bit, and I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm going live soon, so catch me on YouTube." And anyways, I up and got back when I got back from Indiana. Came to the door, and mailbox crammed full, gone for 2 weeks. I didn't think I could accumulate that much mail. Even though there's maybe 3 pieces of mail that was really important. I don't know, it was just that normal junk mail, that you get. Then see a note on my door taped, and sitting there thinking, oh, what's this all about? Because I was expecting something to go wrong, but apparently the I guess the building's changed owners, I guess, and it was made official, I guess, after the first. And the thing I loved about their letter is they didn't leave an address or a way to contact the new owner. So I'm having to call the old office, unless it's all the same office, just different owner of all the buildings, and find out if I'm still sending my rent to the same address and how do I make out my money order to. I kind of hate the idea of getting used to one thing and then something switching up. And just now in the middle of doing this video, the one friend I was trying to talk to just sent me some messages. Oh, whatever. Say one thing nice and, you know. Anyways, got that to worry about. And then, but, and then also, I ain't been able to sleep right for a while. I don't know if it's just all the routine I ended up doing over at mom's or what. But, been having trouble sleeping. anyways, to get to back to the mail, um, one important piece of mail was a box. I was going to do a yabo, but I just I just ain't really felt all that great as far as, doing that stuff. And so I don't know if you would call this a yabo or what, but I got some new tins of tobacco. I'm excited about that. But if you remember New Year's, um, if you remember New Year's, like the video I posted like not too long after the ball dropped and all that. I made a video after I done the whole Happy New Year's video about some tobacco that I had on the way. And anyways, um, they came in, as it was pretty cool. And I was gonna show them off. But anyways, they're all Peterson brand, Peterson blends. The first Peterson is Peterson of Dublin Sunset Breeze. This blend is comprised of the highest quality Virginia Burley and Black Cavendish tobacco. It's a 50 milli, 50 grams. There's that. And then the other one, this one I had trouble pronouncing it. I'm trying to remember. And that is Peterson of Dublin Sweet Killarney. This blend comprises Virginia Burley mixed together with some Virginia Flake and Black Cavendish, and it's a 50-gram can. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that is. And then the other one that I've been wanting to try to see if it's like this one tin I got that was a German blend. I'm kind of excited about this one. It is Peterson of Dublin Nutty Cut, a mixture of golden red and dark Virginia tobaccos of different cuts, rounded with burley and Black Cavendish. It's a 50-gram can, and I can't wait to see what this really tastes like. I'm really curious if it tastes like crunchy blend that's by Vienna, or however it's pronounced, but that German tobacco. I'm wondering if it'll taste just as good as that did. Or if it's two different tastes. I'm kind of excited about it. And I'm going to be doing a review of all three of them, but I'm going to wait and be sure I'm fully over the cold that I got before I do that. The way I know nothing is corrupted or anything with the taste buds. And also this blend here, from what I read, the Sunset Breeze is supposed to be amaretto flavor, which is a pretty cool thing. But I'm excited about that. got me a canvas up on my paint easel, and anyways, I'm still debating on what to start out painting. But I'm not too for sure yet what I'm gonna do. And I don't know why, but I ain't never done this before. Matter of fact, I don't even think I ever drew one. But I was thinking of like drawing like an old, not drawing, but painting like an old windmill, kind of like what you see in the original Frankenstein movie that burns down. I don't know why, but I kind of like get some kind of scenery like that going on in my head for some reason. Of course, I ain't that good of a painter, but I try. I just gotta get this mindset going. You know something I wish? I really do wish this. I wish that people sometimes would take the time to try to think like how someone that has dyslexia would think. You know, how their minds operate. Because, there was a bit of a misunderstanding at a air hose pump with me and a friend. And they got all crappy and everything towards me. And I wasn't mad. I was just trying to figure out how could I explain to them what was really going on in my head. Because there's a certain way that they wanted something done, or, you know, when it came to airing up a tire. But anyways, I kind of have this routine that's stuck in my head, and it's just a thing, you know. I can't really explain it, but it's a thing, you know. And of how I do things, or, you know, it's hard to explain. But anyways, I got mad and thought I wasn't listening to him or whatever. And then like there's this thing where they said something to me, and I couldn't hear him on account of the air pump going on. Well, then they got all crappy, you know, but they get over it. But once again, then like how the normal routine of doing something like that is stuck in my head. Well, then when I go to think in reverse of that, well, then it completely reverses the whole train of thought. And I just don't think people stop and think about these things when it comes to people that are dyslexic. And what's what just aggravates the hell out of me, to be honest with you, is people don't stop and think about that. You know, I've even had a few people say, "Oh, you don't stop to think about no one else but yourself." It's like, how do you know that? Do you really know that? Is that really what you think? Tell you what, jump in my mind for just a minute and see how I view the world. And then, afterwards, see if you can look at me and say that all I do is care about myself, or that I'm self-centered. Not that anybody's really said this to me in the recent, but there's been people that have said this to me in the past. And I just kind of think about these things, you know, I don't get upset about them. If anything, I try to follow some advice that one of my adopted uncles told me about. They say to me, because like I had a situation where I felt like someone was being real racist towards me, and I went to this elder, and I was telling him about it, and it was a native elder, and they said, you know what, the best advice I can give you. And he said, if you don't learn nothing else in life, at least learn and acknowledge this. And I said, okay, what's that? He said, learn to overlook other people's ignorances. He said, you will save yourself a lot of headache. Now, a lot of people will say, well, needless to say, I took that to great heart, and sometimes instead of outspeaking to someone about something, I just kind of just look at them. When I look at them, some people take that as a sign of defiance. Others might take it as a threat. And some people would say it's very impeculiar. But it's just me taking in the fact that I have to look what someone else don't understand. And understand that they don't understand. Sometimes this is easier said than done. Majorly. Because a lot of people don't realize it, but I do have a short fuse. I really do. But I've learned ways to cope with things, Not only that, when I was young and aging and growing up out of the foster care system, they made me take a lot of anger management classes. And I'm here to tell you, the only thing anger management does is it just teaches you how to take more BS than the average man. If you can handle it. If you can discipline your mind to. And I struggle with that on a daily basis. As far as not being angry, but just trying not to speak out of anger. But sometimes it's easier said than done. Depending on what the subject or the situation is that's going on. And, I had one person tell me, well, if you're mad at me or something, well, up and tell me. Don't just stand there and just take in what I say. And I was in a relationship with this person. And thing of it is, there was only maybe 1 or 2 times that I really spoke out. And when I spoke out, both times, the first time I did, I felt stupid afterwards because it made no sense what it was I said. Felt great saying it at first, but it made absolutely no sense. And I'm sitting there thinking, what a waste of words. What a waste of breath. What a waste of time. I kill a second of my life. Hello, viewer. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome. But, and then the second time that I spoke out was when I realized some things have been twisted and some things were being said to me that really cut deep. Really cut deep. And I finally stopped And I was thinking, and I don't know how it is. All I can say is by the grace of God, and nothing more, but by the grace of God, that I didn't go ballistic. I'm not a violent person, but it was everything within me to keep from just losing absolute, utter, total control. And brother, been watching your channel and catching up on it. I wasn't able to check out all that you said, but I caught enough to know and thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. I'm not good at doing this stuff yet. I'm trying to get better. Excuse me. Alright. But anyways, the situation that went on involved an ex and their daughter and some other things, and these things just really got to me. And I sat alone for a few minutes, and then something deep inside me said, Rob, if you don't nip this in the bud right now, if you don't face it whether you want to or not, if you don't face it, if you don't grab this bull by the brass ring in its nose and give it a good jerk right then and there and now, then something worse is going to come about. It's just a matter of time, and it's a ticking time bomb. So I sat down in front of these people, and I told a meaning behind something I had said, and then unraveled what was said that was twisted. And it also involves this mark right here that I wear on my shoulder. And it's an occurred with that. But even ever since that time, I had held a very large grudge. But for the sake of one thing, I figured I'll just ignore it in the back of my mind, you know. Let it be in the back of the mind and not forget it, but remember it enough to, you know, keep how twisted people can be, you know. And then I kind of also got asked by the same people to do something in the recent. And you know, I said in a few videos a while back, or maybe it was in the recent, I can't remember, about how sometimes you gotta swallow your pride. Sometimes you gotta learn how to be humble. Because if you don't, then God's gonna humble you. If you're not willing to be humbled yourself, eventually God will have enough of it and He'll force you to become humble. So I've done this one thing, and what's crazy is you know, I was focused on what I was doing, but I kept thinking about that moment too, that concurred with this mark. And at the same time I was doing what I was doing, as which involved a lot of prayer. A lot of prayer before I started to do the job that was asked of me. And anyways, you know, I felt a release, you know, like by doing that I felt a burden come off my shoulders. And you know, I can forgive. I can truly sit here and say, I mean, and I probably won't never be able to forget it because, I mean, some of the things that were said are scarred in my brain. But as far as the whole situation, I'd held on to this grudge on up till this moment, or that moment, you know. And I can truly say that I forgive that whole entire situation. Because a lot of people don't realize it, but there's a lot of things in this world that can attach itself to you and drag you down. And if you can't let certain things go, then you become a slave to that thing. And, it's just like, you know, someone still wants to be mad about the situation, but you're willing to let it go, and the other person don't. Well, then it's also, as the same elder that told me about overlooking people's ignorances, they say, if you're willing to drop something and let it be and forgive in your own heart, and someone else still wants to carry on or hold on to that, then you no longer are the owner of that. They are. Because you moved past that. Excuse me, I have to relight. And, anyways, my pleasure to be here, brother. Been watching. Oh, wait a minute. Amen and well said. Oh, thank you, the Gray American Dog Piper. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, forgive me. If you leave a comment down below and I guess however it works, after it like loads up, I'll try to properly respond back to you. um, but something else too. I used to be the type of person that would wear my feelings on my sleeve, and I used to be easily hurt, And the thing of it is I learned not to do that, not to be that way, but at the same time, I still try to be a compassionate person. I try to. I try. I try. Sometimes I'm like, empathetic, or I can sense what people feel sometimes. Whether by reading a look on their face or a gesture they might make. And then when I try to help somebody or be a friend to somebody, I was always told, you treat your friends like your second family. At least that's the way my mother raised me to believe and taught me. But at the same time, not everybody's your friend in the world, neither. There are some people out there that's just out there to use you and not care about you after they get what they want. And that's a sad but true story. And people like that are the ones that take advantage a lot of times of people that are passionate about helping people or wanting to be that real good true friend. And they take it as, well, they're a gullible duck, I can use them and then, let it be. But at the same time, I got news for those people. And that's this. You can run, it's like that Johnny Cash song. You can run on for a long time. You can run on for a long time, but sooner or later, God will cut you down. And that's a fact, Jack. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I'd just like to say I thank you for joining me for this evening smoke. I think I'm going to have to leave you with some dead silence for a second because my battery light's coming on, and I'm going to try to grab my charger over there real quick and try to prevent the phone from dying. So forgive me for this, and I'll try to. God is good, brother. Keep on puffing. Happy smokes, Ali. Cool. Wow, it just popped up again that things are going. I'll see if I can give you a better view. Well, there's a wonderful, beautiful painting I painted that I'll give you to stare at while I'm doing this. I never can seem to get myself to be really super prepared for things sometimes. Sometimes it's aggravating, sometimes it's alright. Just depends what time of day it is. Well, you can partially see me. See if I can't fix this any better, dang it. Well, there it is. It's not as good as what it was, but it's as good as it'll ever be. You know, something that I kind of concurred 2 or 3 months back. I up in, actually, you know what? I have to say, it actually was. Is this thing even charging? Shows that it is. Alright. But, anyways, back in November, beginning of November, I met somebody. And, I ain't got no high hopes or anything, but, and a lot of people have had some concern about this because, this person's going through some issues in their life right now, and they're just getting themselves straight. And I've talked with them a few times, and anyways, they're in a drug rehab, you know, and I got one friend that told me that really you shouldn't be messing with anybody that's been in and out of a drug rehab and everything. And I'm just like, well, you know, there's more to the story, you know. And they're like, well, you know, we don't want you to come home one day from work and find everything you own sold because somebody needs a fix. And, you know, I understand everybody's concern and everything. I even had one friend, my friend Luna, she up and, whenever, I took, and it's so weird. I sent her a text message one day, be like, hey, you know, I met somebody. And then next thing I know, like the next day, like out of the blue, she calls me and was like very concerned. I mean, I almost wasn't sure if it was the concern of a friend or a jealous woman, to be quite honest with you. But anyways, she voiced her concern, and my sister did too, and a few other people, and I told them I thanked them for their concern, but there was a few things this person said to me, you know, that really caught my eye, really caught my ear, but at the same time, with all my bad experiences, I've learned enough to be very discerning. So I was even kind of testing this out, just to see where these things are. And one thing that I think was like really cool is that I kind of tested the waters out was they had looked at me and said, I never met anybody like you before. And I said, what's interesting about that? She goes, what's that? I said, I ain't never met anybody like me neither. And we both had a good laugh about that. And and everything. And next month, she might be graduating out of the rehab and and stuff. And she told me I had a date if I wanted it, and I said sure, you know. And but I ain't holding my breath and none of this stuff. For one, this person lives way, way far away from me, almost close to the Tennessee border. Second, this person has 3 children, and I kind of figured it was kind of like a fluke, if anybody knows what that is. And just with the way my luck is. I was just figuring, it was just one of those passing things because and how I ended up meeting this person anyways was the rehab that they're in is a 501c organization, and they up and I think I got this packed too tight. My problem. But anyways, it's like a 501c organization, and if anybody don't know what that is, that means a stands for non-profit organization, and they get like a small government loan, and or I make grant, and then they have to come up with the rest of the funds to keep their organization going, or their services that they're providing for the public. And so they send the people that are in rehab with out in the public with I don't know, supervisors or counselors or whatever they're called. I don't know the word for it, but they send them out to stand out front of shopping centers and stuff, and they like got a table full of Christian religious stuff, crosses and shirts, that say, Jesus saves, and things of that nature. And and anyways, she just happened to be standing out in front of work back in November, and I said howdy to her, and she had this cutest smile I ever did saw. But then when she spoke back, she had a deep southern drawl to her voice, and buddy, that rang in my ear like a bell. I mean, it couldn't have been any better if somebody, it was the same color as if someone was just jamming away on a Gibson, man. On a Gibson guitar. That's just how it rang smoothly in my ears, or you think of the most beautifulest harp sound, when I heard that southern drawl, in her voice, like a real southern belle. I'm just like, I have got to get to know this girl. And I even flat out asked her, what'd you do? And this person didn't hesitate to not tell me anything. Then stuff that I even didn't ask. And, I figured, someone being truthful about that, they're really trying to help themselves. But still, again, I can understand people's concerns. But, her hands were cold, and I gave her a pair of my gloves that I bought last year. And They was really my best pair of gloves, but her hands were a freezing when the sun went down, and they was probably standing out there. I think till I think she said like 9 or something like that, and I'd gotten off work early, and I just kind of stood over, talked to her for a little bit, even bought her a Mountain Dew because um she was thirsty, and they had a couple of bottles of water, but they wasn't looking like they was lasting that long. So I bought her a pop and and everything. Even gave her a piece of butterscotch candy I found in my pocket that I didn't realize was there. Of course, I also kind of see how that can be kind of creepy too, but oh well. Anyways, we talked and everything, and she before I took off to catch my bus to come home, she up and gave me this big old hug. And I've been hugged before by people, but that hug just felt really great. It felt really great. So I up and well, I took and figured if I saw her again, I'd really seriously talk to her. And when I seen her again, by golly, I tell you what, I felt my heart go. And when she saw me walking down the hill from the bus stop and everything, when I got to the door, she opened up her arms, great big and wide, and gave me the biggest hug in the world. And she says to me, she says, I was looking for you. She goes, I was hoping I'd see you today and everything. And I looked and I seen she was wearing those gloves, and I gave her, and I said, I see you still got them gloves. She goes, believe it or not, she goes, there's not a day that I put them on that I'm not thinking of you. And I said, well, I'm glad I made a positive impact on your life. and and everything. And we talked back and forth, and I said, well, are you still serious about when you get out, graduate this rehab, are you still serious about, wanting to come back down this way and see me? And she looked at me, she goes, you bet. And she goes, and not only that, she goes, you done gave me your number, so she goes, I know how to get a hold of you. So, only time will tell. And even then, I'd still be skeptical. Not drop my guard down, not for a second. Because I've seen enough pretty smiling looking ladies. They ain't nothing more but a whole lot of party trouble. Just gonna relight again. It's pretty good blood. Something else. I told this girl, I got one bad habit. She looked at me. She goes, "What is?" And this girl had some concerned eyes. She locked eyes with me and said, "What is it?" I said, "I'm a pipe smoker," and she thought I said pot smoker. And she goes, "Wait a minute, what'd you say?" I said, "I smoke a pipe." And she looked at me and she goes, "Well, that's not all that bad." I go, "Well, I just thought I'd tell you I smoke pipe and I ain't giving it up neither." And she said to me, she goes, I think I could handle that. And I was like, well, good. Well, I'm not too for sure what time it is, but I think I'm reaching close to about an hour on this thing, or a little over. So I guess I'm gonna call it an evening and finish this wonderful pipe. And thank you for joining me this evening and listening to me ramble about some depressing stuff. I always try to be a little upbeat, and try to give everybody the very best of me. But at the same time, I'm a real dude and a working man, and just like every other guy out there, just like every other fan, I'm just an average Joe, and I have my ups and my down days, and today's been like a happy medium. They say that for every negative thing there is a positive thing. Another piece of advice, if I can give any good advice that I know of, if it's easy to see the negative in everything. Absolutely easy. I mean, just as sure as the nose on your face. But I was told by my mom a long time ago. She said, "Son, how easy it is for everybody to see the negative in all things in life." She goes, "But if you can at least find one thing positive in a negative situation, even if it's just one positive thing out of a whole day that's gone wrong, and if you can find just that one positive thing," she said, "Son, then you got half the problem licked." So when people ask me how's my day been going, I normally say, could be worse, or could be better, could be worse. And I've had a lot of people say, "Well, that's a good way to be." And I said, "Well, hopefully that way I can't go wrong." And not only that, whenever you're having a real crappy day and everything's coming against you, just remember the next town over, a few miles down the road, next state over, somewhere on the other side of the globe, somebody's having a whole lot more of a crappier day than you. And that's a fact. So always try to see the positive in everything. Just subbed your brother. Great advice. A lot of us YTPC guys and gals are all. Oh, I wish I was fast at reading. I hope that shows up in the comments section. I hope it does. Just in case, when I end this video, if you would, because I really want to see what you say. It's just hard for me to do this screen thing. But I just like to say thank you. Um, anyways, I don't think I'm one for giving out good advice, but just all this is just what I learned from the School of Hard Knocks. It's like I told someone else the other day. I ain't no preacher. I ain't no holy man. But I learned things from living. One bad curse about some people. Well, I shouldn't call it a curse, but one bad thing that does happen sometimes, and I'm one of those people. Sometimes I can give the best advice in the world to somebody that works, but sometimes it don't always work for myself. But because on kind of past experiences I've had, I've gained a little bit of knowledge, and I try to pass it on. But there are some things I can tell people that will help them, but it sure don't work for me. And then, as I said in one video, I think it was the last video I done with my mom and my cousin, You know, oh man, I lost my train of thought. I hate that. I hate that. I had it on the tip of my tongue and then the front load of my mind. School of Hard Knocks. And some, oh yeah, here's what I was getting at. There are some people that can learn from other people's mistakes. There are some people that make a mistake here and there, hear a warning, and they reframe or learn without making the mistake. Me, always had to be one of those people that had to learn the hard way. Always had to find out for myself. I've always had to do this. Felt compelled to do that. Sometimes it's got me more trouble than what it was ever worth. But it's got me the knowledge I have now. In my own little world, you know, I mean, I'm not intelligent. I don't consider myself to be intellectual. But at the same time, I'm intelligent. And everybody's intelligent. Did you know this is a fact? No matter where you go in this world, you can have 1,000,000 different people in one room. But every person in that million has just that one thing that they are highly intelligent on. And if you take that one thing and combine it with what someone else over here has that's intelligent with that one thing, it could be the same subject, just two different parts of a subject. And you could have one awesome idea that could come together that could help millions of people. It's like, I know people that can't read sheet music, but they can play anything they hear. I wish I could do that. There's some people that can read sheet music, but they can't play by ear. And me, I can't hardly do either. I have to be physically shown. But that's also part of being dyslexic. But also, too, anybody can sit in front of a camera and also spout off, thoughts and ideas. And there's one thing I love, too, about doing this is, I don't want to keep one thing specific on my channel. I love randomness. Randomness is excitement. Sometimes even a little disorderliness. Sometimes, unless I feel compelled that I have something really, really compelling to say or real important to say, then I try to keep straight with the facts. Not goof off or ramble like I have done in this video. But I try to stay conclusive with the subject. Now a lot of people, they write out a script. I don't like that. Because that's something, that's like, it's like going to a praised burger shop, and they say that their burgers are fresh. But yet but yet you look past the counter or you take a peek in the kitchen and they're taking a frostbit patty, throwing it on a grill. You know what I mean? I like things to be fresh and straight from the heart and straightforward. And I also feel with me and the quality of my channel, that's giving you, the fan, the very best of me. Whether it's sad, happy, kind of low, downbeat, depressing. Even though I try not to do that. Because, who wants to watch a video of somebody being mopey? I don't. Life's depressing enough anyways. And some things, but sometimes I do have my moments. But I'm glad and thankful for those that have stuck by, endured with me, and I appreciate it. That's why I quit calling people subscribers. Now, once in a while that slips, but I always say fans. Because, anybody can subscribe to anything. Anybody can follow anything. Don't mean they're going to look at the material. Just means, oh, I got an update. Okay, they might check it months later. You know, I'm kind of bad about that on Twitter, or Twitter, or how it's pronounced. But I mostly follow hockey, anyways, and stuff, and that's also one of the main reasons why I got Twitter. But you know, but without people really caring about your content, really caring about what you're putting out there from your heart, from your own intellect, your mind, and what's inside your heart and your spirit, without people out there that really cares for what you say, you're just talking to air. And to be honest with you, as every YouTuber starts out talking to air, you know, I really didn't think I'd have as many people follow me, like follow and watch my stuff. I never really felt like I was that important. And then when I discovered, this whole community of the YTPC, I thought to myself, I've said this in quite a few videos, I've always found it fascinating. It's a wonderful hobby, and of course, you get the comments, well, and it's amazing. You don't hear too many people say this about cigarette smokers, but people really verbally attack cigar and pipe smokers and say, yeah, welcome to the world of the big cancer, too, and ha 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 ha. And I'm just like, well, for starters, you don't even inhale the smoke. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't. I'm a puffer, not an inhaler. I like the different tastes of tobacco, and also with the retrohale. I've also learned, I mean, to be honest with you, it could be the fact that I just ain't found the happy medium, or maybe I'm still in the learning process of how to smoke a Virginia. But I've tried a retrohale, 2 different Virginias, and it burnt my sinuses. And I'm more of an aromatic smoker. I love aromatics. I've kind of feel like, to me, the thrill of pipe smoking is tasting the different aromatics. And I said this in one of my videos. One of my most favorite 10 tobaccos is Cult Blood Red Moon. And I've even nicknamed that a sexy tobacco or a sexy aromatic, because I've had times when I walked into a mall after smoking that, and I've had some women ask me, well, what type of cologne are you wearing? That's a very unique smelling cologne. And when I tell them that it's actually an aromatic tobacco that I smoke out of my pipe, they're like, oh, we didn't know it's anything like that smelled that good. Are you sure it's not vape or something? Nope, it's tobacco. It's not cologne. It's tobacco. And people, are like, oh, wow, okay. But that's like one of my favorite 10 tobaccos. Now, I have found a happy medium, which is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this is the same as, I think this is that blend. Yeah, I got the little cover thing. As a physician, I laugh every time when I wish I could read that fast enough. I hope that pops down in the comment section. I really hope it shows. Um, but anyways, I'm hoping that this tin of tobacco will be either better or just as good as what this was for me, and that was the crunchy blend of that blend of tobacco. And I really love the flavor of this. This is like the closest to happy medium in between an aromatic and a non-aromatic combined. If I could find more blends that were like that, and I'm hoping this tin is gonna be every bit of what I'm expecting it to be. I mean, I've seen a lot of reviews, people reviewing this tobacco, and I'm hoping it's everything that they raved about because I'm psyched about it. But once again, I'm not going to crack any of these open until I can get over the sinus issue, because I want to be able to really dive into the diverse flavors and everything. I'm all English here, but all good blends mentioned. Oh. But that's awesome. I think I tried a see there's something else I need to I really need to do this for myself for my own personal taste buds. Um and I don't know if anybody out here, I mean, I know there's a few people that watch this guy, but Mutton Chop Piper, if you ain't never seen his videos, look him up. Tell him I sent you. Um, he up and said this one of the first few videos that I watched when I was for just getting into the YTPC and the hobby is he said buy a straight Burley, buy a straight Virginia, or he said get an ounce of one, get an ounce of the other, of it all just straight, all the way down to your Cavendishes, which I'm a major Cavendish fan. I love black Cavendish. But he's like, buy a straight blend of each blend of tobacco or kind of tobacco that there is. Smoke it. Taste what it tastes like. Absorb and take in the taste. Now, I've been told like some of your Burleys is more or less the same thing that goes into cigarette tobacco. I don't know how true that is. I'm kind of uneducated about that. But, eventually I am going to do that because, how can you really, decipher, even in aromatics, if you don't know what the straight stuff tastes like, how can you really make an educated guess or a true educated guess on the many different blends? Now I do know if it tastes harsh, it has to be somewhat of a burley, a little bit, because I've heard a lot of people say that when you transition into non-aromatics, they've said that you can burley punches you in the face kind of at first. But I just like to try, and see what I pick up, and what I can learn through taste as well as tin notes or the bag note, as well as room note. And really get a hands-on education about it. Well, folks, I think I was aiming to end this a little bit back, but I'd like to say thank you for joining me this evening, and I think I'm gonna call it a night. Got to work in the morning, but I ain't gotta go until later, so I can sleep in a little bit. Chris is great. However, I think that every piper will go through their own journey, and your palate will. I understand what you're saying there. I wasn't fast enough at reading it all, but yeah, I agree with you there. Um, but anyways, folks, I just like to say thank you for hitting like, share, subscribe. Thank you for being a fan. Thank you for following me. And wherever you're at in this world, may you be blessed. And I thank you. And till next time, everybody. Have a good one.